back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to do a story titled, Am I the A-hole for saying if my wife wants to be a trad wife, then she must always look her best, wait on me, and provide SCX without question when asked? And guys, this story is about a guy who is now divorcing his wife. He is done with her after she's royally crossed the line. And what is that? Well, you're going to see it was a series of things crossing the line, but the final thing was she decides she wants to be a trad wife. In other words, one of those wives that dresses like some 1950s June Cleaver type, who cooks and cleans and waits on her husband, that type of thing, but and has no job, and yet she doesn't want to do any of that, amongst many other things you're going to see. And finally, he's done with her kicking to the curb. And if I'm going to go over here, guys, making the point, then there's a point, gentlemen, when you're pushed too far, it's over. And if you know your wife is not on your side, is not a teammate and all that, you really have to look at the big picture, particularly financially. And you're going to see a big one here. This all boils down to finances and, of course, respect. As well as the fact, guys, and I can't stress this enough, many men enable their girlfriend's wise behavior. The wife wants something, the husband doesn't have the balls to say no, and then guess what? She gets it and wants more and more and more, bleeding him dry. You can't do that. So it starts off, says here, I'm 35 years old and my wife is 40. Smack. Really, dude? She's older. We've been together 15 years. The last couple of years, she really fell down the trad wife black hole, and it is driving me crazy. At first, it started off with her saying she doesn't want to work anymore, and lately it has escalated to saying men who make their wives work are abusive. Oh, for goodness sake. Well, guess what? Both parties work because they need it to take care of things. It just doesn't work as it once did, unless the woman is with a guy who makes a substantial amount of money. This is what it is. We both have well-paying jobs. I'm self-employed, a builder with a team, and earn more than £100,000 a year. They're over in the UK. She works in management for the NHS and earns around £50,000 a year. We both work, I guess I should say worked for her. We work really hard and have no kids, and 3 years ago managed to pay off our mortgage and lived in a nice area where I would be happily stayed forever. Well, that's awesome. 3 years ago, so by the time he was 32, paid off the mortgage. Hey, what a good deal. Well, guess what? That ain't enough for her. She, however, suddenly wanted a massive house that we did not need. Shocker. I should have seen what was coming. She was looking at a £700,000 house, which would require a mortgage of £500,000 after we sold our house. Here is a classic example, gents. It's usually not the guys that get themselves in a position where they're strapped financially. It's usually the wives. They want the bigger homes. They want the fancier cars. They want the country clubs. They want their kids to have this, the vacations, the clothes, the shoes, all this stuff. Don't get me wrong. There are some guys out there done with money, but here's a perfect example. Watch what happens. Well, I gave in and we bought the house. Smack. Why? Why do you need this big giant house? You don't have any kids. You're not moving in-laws in or family in that need a place to stay that can't take care of themselves. Unless you have like 5 dogs and cats. You don't need that either. Just so she can feel better about herself. And by the way, he mentions later on, over the years, she's become obsessed with TikTok and things like that. Seeing how people supposedly live. Well, do you think that's over? She then wanted a new car, which again I caved to, and she got a car that is worth more than she earns in a year. Smack, smack, smack. Big surprise, you cave in the house, and now she wants the freaking car. A lifestyle that she can't afford. This is why most people that whine and complain they don't have enough money, I don't feel bad for, because they themselves get themselves in these situations. This guy needed to have the balls to stand firm and say no. Then she decided she didn't want to work anymore. She said her job was crap, and I said, take a lower paying job that you'll enjoy more. And she said no. She just doesn't want to work at all, full stop. She also doesn't want to give up anything that she has. Oh, hell no. You're going to work, honey. I don't care what you do. I'd be like, I don't care if you had to march your ass down to Piccadilly Circus every day and suck some tourist dick for money. I don't care. You're bringing in income. I got this 700,000-pound house that you wanted with a 500,000-pound mortgage now and your fancy car. What, so you can just, what are you going to do all day? Huh? Well, we're not done yet. It's ridiculous. Over the past couple of years, it has been obvious she's trying to lose her job without leaving, despite me saying that I can't afford the house and the car and holidays on my own. She started bringing this trad wife crap up, but said she'd want to hire a cleaner as the house is too big for her to clean alone, and she prefers my cooking to hers, so I'll still do all the cooking. You do all the cooking, and you just bought her that big-ass house and the car and all that? Smack! This is what's happening. You have no backbone. They're going to take. She's an a-hole, but this guy's enabling her behavior. So I said, you basically want to dress up pretty and bake the odd cake, and she stormed off and said that I don't get it. She's just miserable, and you're going to see what's really going on behind the scenes here. She wants out, but she's just making it difficult for him. She again brought up the whole trad wife thing yesterday and said, fine, she can do it, but she has to get up before... Oh, she again brought it up yesterday, and I said, fine, and I listened to his demands for her if she wants to do the trad wife thing and have no job. And I said she has to get up before me every morning and make sure my breakfast is really liking the videos that she watches. She has to be dressed as a sexy version of a 1950s housewife, like in the videos she watches, and from the moment I open my eyes to the moment I close them. I also said the house must be spotless at all times, like in the videos she watches. I want a huge packed lunches for work, like the videos she watches. I want to come home and have a beautiful pies and cakes ready for pudding, like in the videos she watches. I told her I want a bath run for me when I get home, and to come down to a proper meal every night, like the videos she watches. I then want a foot rub while I eat the cakes and pies she makes, like the videos. And last but not least, I want sex on demand. How I want it, when I want it, just like in the video she watches. Okay. I got no problem with this after all the crap she's pulling here. But remember, he's been enabling her behavior. She called me, wait for it, drum roll, abusive, a user, sexist, etc., and storm out to her equally delusional sister's house. Don't get me started on her. I'll be honest, I'm ready for divorce. If this carries on, am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole for giving her all what she wanted, and just like a little kid, she still wants more. You're the a-hole for that. But for giving her a hard time about this crap, no, you're not the a-hole. What you need to be doing is understanding the fact... We're not done the video yet, guys. There's part 2 to this. What you need to be doing is accepting reality that she's not the girl that you married, or at least this is who she is. She's been hiding it really well. You're 35. You get your whole life ahead of you. You're doing all right for yourself. You're never going to have wealth with someone like this. She is a drag on you, a leech. It's only going to get worse, and she has no respect for you, and I'm sure you're not getting any. You probably don't want to tap her anyway. It's over, Ringo. End of story. Take the hit, and you're going to take a hit, but in the end, it's a better deal to get rid of her now and take the hit in the divorce and move on than stay with her. Now we're on to part 2. Let's see what happens. It says, I'd like to answer a few questions from my first post before an update. No, my requests were not serious, and I can't believe how many people thought they were. It was me trying to prove a point of how ridiculous she is being. Like I said in the comments, I don't want a maid or a slave, I want a partner. I got no problem with him making her feel like an ass with all her nonsense. Before my wife got on this train, she was a very ambitious, career-driven person who wanted to climb to the top. She was never really on social media until the pandemic. The trad wife thing started a couple of years ago. So, in the comment section, you find out that she really, during the pandemic, when they had lockdowns and all that shit, she became obsessed with social media, particularly TikTok. And apparently this dude has a niece who does OnlyFans, makes a lot of money, and his wife here has become obsessed with like these so-called lifestyles that people, these social media content creators, influencers live like. And she, of course, wants the same thing. It says, before my wife got in this, I read that part. A lot of people suggested couples counseling. I've asked many times and always got the same response, with her saying, I don't need counseling, there's nothing wrong with me. Yeah, clearly there is something wrong with her. She wasn't like this before. Well, on to the update. We spoke on Saturday morning, and I told her that I can't go on like this. I said to her bluntly that the trad wife thing is never happening, and she either accepts it and we go to couples counseling or we split up. I don't like dancing around her bullshit, and she chose to split up. What is a 40-year-old, over-the-hill English woman going to do single? Does she think guys are lining up for her? She's 40, and she's English. And let's be honest here, English women don't exactly have the best reputation in the looks department. They all think they're Baby Spice, but they look like fucking Old Spice at some point. This ain't going to work for her. But in her mind, she's a catch. Even if she's remotely attractive. Yeah, some guys may want to bang her, but finding a sugar daddy to give her that lifestyle, because the other day she just doesn't want that to work. She wants to have the big house, fancy car, and all that, and have to work. Well, guess what? Maybe she can get that if she's good looking in her 20s, but at 40, get the fuck out of here. But okay, we'll split up, honey. I asked her if she even really wanted to be a trad wife, or if she's just trying to force me away. Like she's trying to force her job to sack her because she doesn't have the balls to quit herself. She said yes, she does, and there's plenty of dating sites that cater to this dynamic. I told her I've seen them, and they are more sugar daddy dynamics, and without being horrible, she's too old for that. He's being honest. She thinks he's being mean, obviously, but he's being honest. She's 40 fucking years old. If she was 25, okay. Even at 30, she could probably find some dudes in their 50s or 60s, but 40? Come on here. Unless maybe like there's some rich young guys out there that looking for some cougars or something. I don't know. Well, this set her off. She said I'm wrong and that I'm the one who can't support my wife, so I'm the bad one in the marriage, and a real man would be able to give her the life that she wants. Again, what does she give in exchange for this life? Really? She doesn't work. She doesn't want to cook. She doesn't want to clean. She obviously is probably bad in the sack. Who's going to want that? Oh, yeah, and by the way, she's 40 and English. Yes, there's some good-looking English women out there, but there's a stereotype that's pretty accurate. I've been to fucking England. I've seen a lot of them, and yeah. She was shouting and screaming at the top of her lungs. Oh, you definitely pissed her off. It's about the only time I've been glad that our new house is so thick that the neighbors cannot hear it. I got a bit petty at the real man comment and said, you can't cook, you can't clean, and you don't have sex. What part of being a trad wife do you offer? I then stole a comment from my last post and said she doesn't want to be a trad wife, she wants to be a trophy wife. She just said that I'm unbelievable and has gone to her sisters again. I'm going to take the next couple weeks and start talking to a divorce lawyer and to see what this entails. Then once the ball has gotten rolling, I'm fucking off to Portugal for a couple weeks to myself. And there you go. Now, he responds to lots of comments in the comment section, so I'm going to read them, of course, get a little more details about him and her. But anyhow, this chick is so delusional. And here's how I see a story like this playing out eventually. They'll get divorced or darn close to this. She's going to, obviously some people put in her head that she can get other guys, probably her sister, he says delusional, or she's already cheating on him. That's probably likely too. And before they get divorced or after they get divorced, she's going to realize she doesn't have a prayer. And will come back begging and crying and pleading that she's so sorry, made a mistake, midlife crisis, blames something other than herself. And this guy's going to be like, nope. Pushed me too far. And you can tell, I've done this long enough to be able to tell, even in the stories, when guys are done. The same guys that were manginas and caved, thinking happy wife, happy life, that crap, and finally are done, and there ain't nothing that girl can do to bring them back. And that's where this guy is, and that's good. So anyhow, guys, don't be that guy that just caves and caves and caves. You stand firm in your no. Do not get into financial trouble just because your wife, ego and pride, has to have a bigger house, fancier car, vacations she can put on TikTok, and keeping up with the Joneses. It's always keeping up with the fucking Joneses. Don't fall for it. And if having great success, whatever your profession is, particularly if it's a business or you're trying to build wealth, stay single. Or if you're going to get married, make sure your girl absolutely, after lots of tests and all that, she is on the same page with you financially. Because there are women out there I have known that are not like this. I know 2 women, One's a friend. I've known her a long time. She was a girlfriend of a guy I knew back in the day, and we're all in a big social circle. She's a banker. She has her issues with guys, but let me tell you, when it comes to business and money, she doesn't piss away on bullshit. She's about building wealth and does very well and has built wealth, and it is impressive. So it can be done. I also had a client years ago. She was worked in the wealth management of a very big, well-known bank. I'm not going to mention it. Again, she is building wealth. She and her husband are on the same page, and they have wealth. So it can happen. So some of the comments. One guy says here, I mean, none of this is real, right? If it is, she had a mental crisis of some kind and needs help. This isn't even just obnoxious idiot behavior, it's manic destruction of her entire life, sabotaging her career and marriage. And this dude says, I offered her tons of help. She is not interested. She's been watching too much TikTok and has seen her niece making $500,000 a year from OnlyFans and thinks the world suddenly owes her a living and a lifestyle. She's bitter because she works, or worked hard, and sees all these people living a fake life on social media, and she's fallen for it. This isn't a mental health problem, it's a bitterness and jealousy problem. See, this guy's done. There are a lot of guys out there that, like I said, that really fuck up and give and let them and are doormats. And finally they're done. And that's what this guy is. Another one, this guy says to him, she changed her views and communicated that to you and chose to split up. I don't get what you're bitter about. And this dude says, I'm bitter. I lost the woman I loved. I'm bitter we took a £500,000 mortgage only for her to announce a couple of months later that she no longer wants to work, and I got to shoulder that responsibility alone to keep a roof over our heads. I'm bitter that that when I said I was uncomfortable with that, I was labeled an abuser. I don't blame this guy for being pissed and to changing her behavior or revealing who she really is. Still, she didn't force him to do this. Another one, this guy says, so she doesn't want to have a job, meaning the household income drops by 50 grand, but she also wants bigger, better, expenses and hired help or just your income. This is like have her checked for brain tumor levels of stupidity on her part. You need to get out before she bankrupts you. Thank you. And he says, yep, with a new house and car, she dropped 550 grand in debt on us, and then announced she doesn't want to work anymore, so it's all on me. When I said, okay, but we'll have to downsize and sell the car, she said no. She wants all this plus help, but no working. Yeah, she's fucking delusional. But fuck her, she's going to be on her own. And whenever she gets in the divorce, I guarantee she's going to piss away real quick. Another one, what parts of her personality made you fall in love when she's obviously a selfish, narcissistic dumbass? Not trying to be snarky, genius, genuinely curious. It's scary to think these personality traits can be hidden until you're well into marriage. And he says she was, keyword was, loving, funny, sweet, kind, fun, ambitious, worked hard, play hard woman. She was daring and confident. The pandemic came, she spent all day watching videos on her phone, and just became really bitter with life and people. Well, who knows what it is, but you know what? It ain't his problem anymore. But I'm telling you now, she's convinced she has it and is going to go try to have fun out there and find someone to replace him, Monkey Branch. But what she realizes is nobody wants a 40-year-old English woman over the hill who doesn't offer anything. She'll be back to this guy either right before they get divorced or afterwards, and he's going to be like, nope, I'm off to Portugal. I'm going to bang some Portuguese bimbos in Lisbon and have a good old time. So anyhow, he's 35. He's got his whole life ahead of him, and I wish him the best. So guys, don't make the same mistake as this guy. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.